Hello, I'm Therese Sartorio. I'm from the Philippines, and um, I really want to answer the question, what drives your passion for women's participation in the public health sector? So, ever since the start of humanity, evolution has shown us that women have the inherent capacity to be nurturing, compassionate, and caring. And these values are central to the people in delivering healthcare services. I mean, if you want to be an effective healthcare worker, you should at least have these three values and one of the many values that you should have. And personally for me, ever since I was a kid, I've always been wanting to serve in the healthcare sector. And the most explicit way for me back then was to either become a doctor or a nurse because that's what my family told me. But not until recently did I realize that I could still be a catalyst of strengthening the public health sector, its health systems, and community-based engagements, even if I am not a medical professional. So, given my previous experiences, my personality, my skills, the technical skills that I learned, I have decided to be in the business aspect of public health because I saw that there is a strong need for um, solutions based approaches when it comes to delivering the healthcare services down to the barangay level. So the barangay is what we call the smallest level of community or collection of collective unit here in the Philippines. So I remember this TED talk about a woman who is the COO of Facebook. She said that we need to take a seat at the table. So when she said that, it really resonated in me because until now, even in the year 2021, us women still need more representation in decision-making bodies, both in government, non-government, and in private entities, because it is us who was directly affected by this because we are the ones who create human society. We are the ones who bring people into this world. And specifically, given that, it really should boil down to the fact that we should also take really great importance to our sexual and reproductive health. And this is where us women are heavily or directly centrally affected. Yet we are still underserved in this department. Here in the Philippines, our sexual and reproductive healthcare services are still in its infancy. Like, we are really way behind, especially when compared to other Southeast Asian countries. First and primarily, it is because of our current cultural framework, the very traditional and conservative mindset of Filipinos when it comes to addressing issues on sex, on pregnancy, sexual education, and things like that. So it is these mainstream beliefs that many Filipinos perpetuate. They are the gatekeepers of these traditional beliefs when it comes to topics about like pregnancy, sex, and other and our sexual health especially. So every time this thought occurs to me, it really fuels me with fire because there's so much social injustice when it comes to widespread inequality, and so many people can't afford to avail these services, or some people don't even have the access to acquire this really important information that there are some services out there that they can avail for free. And it really saddens me to know that they they have learned this mentality of learned helplessness, and it really hurts me because this mentality is what blocks women from achieving um, gender empowerment in the first place, because the lack of such services of these important sexual and gender or reproductive healthcare services has been emphasized during this pandemic when prolonged uh, quarantine and a social isolation happened in prolonged periods of time. Cases of teenage pregnancy, unwanted pregnancies, rape, and spread of HIV and STI have skyrocketed. And these are just the reported cases. How much more if we take into account the unmonitored and unreported cases happening in both the urban and rural areas? And given this, I want to be one of those people who will strongly advocate and bring forth the importance of family planning, planned parenthood, sexual and reproductive health care, because these topics should no longer be a taboo. We are now entering the year 2021, and in addition to eradicating COVID 19 transmission, these topics should be urgently addressed. These topics should be in the primary, one of the most first solutions that need to be created, because when you address these problems, when you cater to family planning, Planned Parenthood, sexual and reproductive health, you're also catering to the sexual and reproductive health rights of women, of children, and of the LGBTQ plus community. So, given all of this, I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only Filipina out there who wants to fight for our fundamental sexual and reproductive health rights to acquire these very basic certain healthcare services. So, with that said, I hope that I will be able to meet uh, amazing women just as well in the Women Leaders Academy. Thank you for having me.